The body of a young woman was dismembered into over 2,000 pieces. Her head was boiled, and her intestines were neatly folded. For 28 years, a ghost-like murderer has been at large. This is the Nanjing University dismemberment case. On January 19, 1996, a cleaner in Nanjing found in a trash can a black handbag. He thought it was pork that someone had thrown away. He took it home to clean. But under the tap, he saw 3 fingers. He immediately called the police. The police dogs were quickly dispatched. A citywide search began. Soon, more body parts were found near Nanjing University. A Gillan landscape travel bag. A Shanghai Airlines pattern travel bag. Inside were neatly stacked pieces of meat and internal organs. A cowboy backpack containing the victim's skeleton. Even in a tree hole in the Nanjing University Stadium, the police found the victim's uterus. There were 8 or 9 dumping sites all around Nanjing University. Only the head was thrown in Shuizigang far away. It was wrapped in a printed sheet with incomplete blood handprints on the sheet. A clear fingerprint was left on the underwear. The forensic identification results were chilling. The body was cut into over 2,000 pieces. The knife skills were between professional and non-professional. Limbs were cut from the joints. One cut. Clean and neat. The tools used for dismembering were a military dagger. The head and some body parts were steamed at high temperature. The face was bright red, but still recognizable. Soon, the police identified the victim. She was a freshman at the Adult Education College of Nanjing University, Diao Akin. She came from the countryside of northern Jiangsu. She was introverted, and even a little withdrawn. Through connections, she was admitted to this loosely managed adult class. The dormitory was mixed gender, with mixed people, and it was common for her to stay out at night. This explains why Diao Akin disappeared for 9 days. Until the final exam. The school didn't notice until the final exam. The police launched an unprecedented investigation, taking Nanjing University as the center. Within a 3-kilometer radius, all residents, dormitories, canteens, restaurants, clinics, and slaughterhouses were searched thoroughly. Doctors, butchers, cooks, and boiler workers were listed as key suspects. They checked repeatedly. The police even secretly extracted fingerprints of male teachers. The reward amount rose from 50,000 to 100,000. In 1996, it was a huge sum of money, but nothing was found. There was no first crime scene, and no clear motive for the murder. The murderer was like a ghost, perfectly hidden in the large-scale investigation. The case fell silent until 12 years later. The rise of the internet brought a bizarre twist to this unsolved case. In 2008, a netizen with ID Black Mass on the Tianya forum posted entitled Some Thoughts on the Nanjing University Murder post. He proposed a new portrait of the murderer. A highly educated, introverted, and loved heavy metal rock music. He established a connection with the victim and finally committed the crime due to distorted possessiveness. This post went viral on the internet. Black Mass's analysis is logical and well-written, and writing skills, the description of the victim and the murderer's psychology, which is terrifyingly realistic. Countless netizens suspected that he was the murderer himself. The police also quickly intervened and asked him to the police station. It was finally found out that Black Mass was only 14 years old at the time, just an interested theorist. But Pandora's box has been opened. More bizarre IDs surfaced. A girl named Love Metal left a message on her account. This was not done by one person. It's a secret of a small circle. Then, the account that had been registered for many years disappeared forever. Another account named Wiccan666 describes the pleasure of dismembering in a detailed, first-person account described the pleasure of dismembering. The calmness and cruelty of its words make all onlookers shudder. The emergence of these digital ghosts make the truth of the case more confusing, as more insiders revealed on the internet. Some details that the police had kept secret gradually became clear. The forensic doctor found in the minced meat detected a small amount of wood chips, pork ingredients, and brown hair from an old brown bed. In a travel bag used for dumping the body, residues of black powder and the barrel mark of a shotgun. The police informed the family that Diao Akin was not killed on the day of her disappearance. She was imprisoned for 2 to 3 days, and she didn't eat during that time, but drank water. The 800 yuan wedding red envelope she received in early January, but only over 100 yuan left in the passbook. These clues piece together a more specific outline. The murderer was an experienced criminal, while Diao Akin was an inexperienced rural girl. He didn't care about her appearance, but her youth and simplicity. He was probably a laid-off worker, and had plenty of time to commit the crime. He had a marriage history, but may be separated from his wife. He lived alone near Nanjing University, in a bungalow with a yard. This allowed him, avoiding the police's focus on single men. He has military or hunting experience, and knew how to dismember animals, and a shotgun bag with gunpowder residue. He approached Diao Akin through their common literary hobby. He pretended to be a writer or university teacher, with elegant speech and profound knowledge, and quickly captured the trust of this girl who loved reading. Trust. The more than 600 yuan that disappeared. It was probably because he used the excuse of to defraud the investment, and he told Diaoqin to keep it a secret, which successfully made her keep the secret deep in her heart, and didn't mention it to any friends. On January 9, Diaoqin was depressed by dormitory conflict. When she went out to relax, she met the murderer. He lied that the first batch of books had arrived, and invited her to his home to check the books. She didn't doubt it. She got on the back seat of his bike, and headed towards hell. During the 2 or 3 days of imprisonment, the murderer tortured him inhumanly, and asked him whether he had revealed his existence to a third person. After getting a negative answer, he ended his life. He originally planned to throw the body parts into rivers, to destroy the evidence, but he didn't expect that. It snowed heavily in Nanjing from the 15th. Dumping corpses on the empty riverside in heavy snow, which would easily leave footprints and be witnessed. He immediately changed his plan. He chose to hide in the city. He disguised himself as a cleaner in the middle of the night to discard the body parts in trash cans around Nanjing University. This way, he could dispose of the body, but also to any insiders who might know the inside story, forming a silent deterrent. I'm always by your side. Shut your mouth. This is almost a perfect crime. The murderer used information gap and psychological warfare, avoided investigation, and destroyed the scene. But he miscalculated one thing. He left fingerprints and DNA. Today, 28 years later, criminal investigation technology has changed a lot. The third-generation DNA sequencing technology SMP can detect severely degraded biological samples. The artificial intelligence fingerprint comparison engine has assisted the police solve many unsolved cases that have been dusty for decades. The murderer may be old, but the evidence he left behind will always be young. Justice may be delayed, but it will never be absent. For this ghost hidden in Nanjing City, the bell of judgment may ring at any time.